WWA Pod.
I'm your host, Chris. I'm here with a very special guest, my brother. I'm gonna just read something about my brother, and then I'll introduce him formally. I have my brother Marquest Clark here, best known as Quest. And to know him is to love him. Quest lives by two rules. Let the work I have done speak for me and treat others the same way you want to be treated. And that's found in Luke 6:31. Welcome, Brother Quest.
Welcome, man.
Welcome to the Way Pod.
Glad to be
Thank
here.
you for blessing us with your presence.
Man, listen, it's good to be here.
You know, God has been working, as we know.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that's been going on in the background, even for us to get to this point.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work, and I just want to thank you for, honoring the invite and coming here.
Nah,
so let's dive right in, man. I know you. I've known you for many years, but I don't think our audience really knows you.
Yeah.
So I just want to start off, just give us a quick background of Marquest Clark. Who are you?
Yeah.
Firstly, where are you from?
Man, I'm from Newcastle, Delaware, man. I'm gonna put it out there just like that. I know everybody's got all these special places where they're from, stuff like that. But me, I'm gonna rep Delaware.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna rep Delaware.
So you were born in Delaware?
Born in Delaware.
Oh, nice.
Delaware.
Okay. And have you lived in Delaware your whole life?
No. We spent a lot of time, honestly, just moving around. We moved to a lot of places. We lived in Jersey. We lived out west in Colorado for about 5 years. So
Colorado?
We spread our wings and went out there, which was definitely a unique experience. Coming from Wilmington, Newcastle area, then my stepfather had a dream, and he wanted to buy some land and move us out there, and that's what he did. It was a different experience because coming from the city straight to the country. Two different experiences. But as a young kid, you got to embrace it because you're only going with the flow of what your parents are doing.
So how old were you during this process?
So I ain't even gonna lie to you, I'm not good with remembering those ages, but it was probably around like the 7 to 12, somewhere in there. If I'm correct. Usually my oldest brother is better with those kind of times.
So you did mention your oldest brother. So you are, how many siblings do you have?
So I have a total of 2 on my mother's side. I have 2 older brothers, and then on my father's side, I have a younger brother and 2 older sisters.
Okay. So you are the youngest on your mother's side.
Yes. I'm the youngest.
Okay. So when you guys moved, you were the youngest in the household.
I was the youngest in the household.
Yeah, it makes sense why you don't remember. You would just go with the flow.
And as long as you get the benefit of whatever's happening, that's what happens.
How was Colorado?
Colorado was interesting. The most unique experience we had, we were the only 3 black kids in the entire white school.
Really?
Yes, the only 3. So going out to a whole new school, a whole new state, visiting what we visited, we started out, I think, in Denver, Colorado, and then we moved out to Colorado Springs. Once we moved out there, that's when everything completely changed. So you talk about experiencing racism on a whole nother level, that's a whole nother topic for another time. But it was definitely a unique experience, but that's what shaped me to be who I am today.
I'm glad you said that because I wanted to ask you, I think that every experience that we have,
for sure,
there is a vital lesson, whether it is God, whether it is just something that we need to learn from that experience. So what did you, even though you were very young, what did you learn from your Colorado experience that you think stuck with you to where you are now?
Listen, the biggest thing I think that stuck to me is there's so many different people in this world. There's so many different people. What I learned in that experience going to an all-white school was that every white person was a racist. Wow. Like literally to the point, there was moments where me and my brothers are in certain situations, whether we're getting talked about, whether somebody's getting bullied, whatever the case may be. My brothers had some crazy experiences like that. But to see people stand up for us, because there was nobody else. There was no other black person there to stand up for us. And to see this white gentleman who was our bus driver at the time stand up for my brother the way he did, it just set something different in me. Then I was able to relate to people that I've never been around. I grew up in Newcastle, Wilmington, so we already know what that is.
Yes.
So, and I love my people, but when I got out to Colorado, it was a different experience. We grew up listening to country music. That's all we had out there.
You see, when you said Colorado, I automatically thought about Take Me Home.
Exactly, all of that. Like when I tell you all the 90s, the white artists, like that's all we knew at that time. We heard a little bit of the black artists and things like that, but we didn't listen to a lot of stuff that was there because we were in the middle of the country.
Wow.
So to be in that experience, when I look back at it, it prepared me for life in a different way because I was able to now interact with people on a whole nother level. I can go into a room at work with Walmart with a whole bunch of white people and still conduct myself and be exactly who I need to be and not feel like I need to change.
That seems like a very priceless experience. Something that that is something priceless that you gain from.
It is. It definitely is. I had an experience where I worked at the Newcastle Walmart right down the street here, and there's a lady that works in the fitting room. She's an older white lady, like 60 years old. But every morning I would come in and we would talk. She would ask me how I'm doing. She would pray with me. I would pray with her. We would share scriptures together. And people would look at me like, how are you doing this with this lady? I'm like, this is just who I am. I don't look at her any differently. If she has something to offer me and she can pray for me, we can share that experience. We can do the same thing. And then to the brother down the street that works next to me, I can do the exact same thing. So I had that good balance.
Do you think that experience that you had specifically with the white bus driver, do you think if you never had that, there's a part of you that may have grown up continuing to think that all white people were racist and that there weren't quote unquote good white people out there?
Yeah, that definitely is exactly how it played out. Specifically because I remember there was one incident on the basketball court and I heard the N-word. And when I heard the N-word, the only thing I knew was to react. And I don't care who was around. You just react and whoever is there is going to get it. But I didn't know enough to how to manage through that because at the time I'm only in 3rd grade, 4th grade or something like that. So I didn't fully understand how to navigate through that, in that manner. But that impression that man did for us, it left a lasting impression on me that there's still some good that is out there.
That's wonderful.
And I don't have to look at it that particular way.
So in moving from Colorado, did you come back to Delaware?
Yeah, we came back to Delaware. Maybe we came back to Jersey. We had this crazy thing of just constantly moving around a lot. Okay. So we were just kind of all over the place. But I would say at some point we moved back to Delaware, maybe back to Jersey, then back to Delaware, something like that.
Okay. Now, in your becoming a man now, right? What did you see for yourself as far as the future is concerned, right? What did you see for yourself? What did you want to be? And what kind of plan did you have for your life?
If I'm being honest with you, I was that kid that was just uncertain. I was just uncertain. Once I graduated from high school, it was just a matter of just go find a job, go to work. Because that was kind of what was the only thing that was instilled in me with my stepfather growing up. It was just like, hey, grow up, work hard, and that's that. So whether that's working in the field or just getting a job and just going to work. So my thing was, let me find a job and let me just figure it out. I wasn't necessarily on a route to go to college because that wasn't something that was talked about.
Right.
I even dabbled in the going to the military.
Okay.
I was on the verge of doing that, and me and my best friend, he ended up going, and something in me just said no. And I actually spoke to one of our great leaders in our church, and he was like, "Listen, I don't think that's really the thing for you." And when I heard that, I said, that's all I needed to hear. So military was not my way. So I ended up going to work and I found a job at Walmart.
Wait, hold on. I want to stop you right there. I never, as long as I've known you, I didn't know that story.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because I have a similar story where my best friend and I were out of high school, we're planning to join the Marines.
Right.
And I spoke to an older gentleman in the church who was a former military, and he told me that's not the way for you.
That's
and
it.
My best friend ended up going to the military, and I ended up staying.
Exactly.
But I didn't know that we had that similarity in our stories. I was
that close to it because I was just sold on, hey, get the signing bonus, do this, do that. I'm like, all right.
Took the ASVAB, was ready, trying to lose weight, working out.
Man, listen, you can lose 10 pounds in a whole week and do all this other stuff.
They were doing a body fat test. And I was ready to go, man.
I was that close. And all I needed to hear him say was, no, that's not the right way to go. Because there's something else better for you.
And it's funny how, even though we had our minds made up, that voice was able to, because I'm not a person that could be swayed easily.
True.
Oftentimes I harken back and I'm like, what did he say exactly? Because I had my mind made up and I still can't remember exactly what he said to me. Right. But whatever he said, it just made me like, all right, maybe let me pivot. Let me
That's
change
right.
my plans. You
That's
know what
it.
I'm saying? It's kind of interesting when I think back on it. And you also mentioned high school. I just
Yeah.
want to let the audience know.
Right.
Just what high school did you go to?
Oh, I went to Wilmington High School. So, for
The greatest high
everybody,
school.
The greatest high school
The
there.
greatest
That's
high
how we
school
do
ever.
it.
I just wanted to let you guys know. Best high school
No
ever.
matter what y'all say. That's what we're going to do. We're going to rep WP like we're supposed to.
So back to the story. You were telling me about transitioning to Walmart.
Yeah, transition to Walmart. And honestly, how that worked out, I never knew anything about Walmart. I was with my best friend, the one that went to the military. And, he actually went to the military and it didn't work out for him because he had open heart surgery as a kid.
Oh.
So that kind of messed him up as he got to that point.
I see.
So he ended up coming back. And his girlfriend at the time was working at Walmart. So we riding around. She get off at a certain time. We go pick her up. She's like, why don't you go get a job? I'm like, I don't know nothing about Walmart. Man, I put the application in. Maybe 2 or 3 days later, I got the call. I started, and 24 years later, here I am. But that was the setup. When I look back at it now, that was a setup to put me in a position that I never saw myself being in a position.
Wow. So, just for some context, when you started Walmart, what was your position? And when you left Walmart, what was your position?
Man, so when I started as a cashier in Garden Center, standing down at the register. They used to have the door open, and it was November, so it's wintertime. So I'm sitting there with a jacket on. I'm ringing people out. It's cold. I'm like, I know I need this money, but like I ain't built for this. Like, this is not what I signed up for. So one of the managers that was there, he was like, listen, just get through the holiday. It's busy. After the holiday's over with, you'll see a difference. So I took his word for it. So come January, it got real slow. I'm still standing at the register. I'm like, what's going on? I need something more to do.
Yeah.
And I told the manager that at the time, and he challenged me. He's like, all right, we're going to put you on the floor. And that man taught me everything that he knew, and I just built my career off of that. And then that's when everything changed, man. I got into a management position as a department manager. I worked throughout the entire store. And over time, the work that I put in, which is why I live by that quote from my grandfather, let the work that you do speak for you. And that's how I was able to get different positions. Even to this last position that I held now after 23 years, I became a store manager.
Wow.
Started at the register. 20-something years later, I became a store manager.
So you had your own store? I had
my own store. Actually, I ran 2 stores. Yeah, so I ran 2 stores. So I don't know if you're gonna call that a flex or not.
Nah, listen.
From where I
this
came
is a
from,
multi-million-dollar. Like, these are not little, stores.
That's true. Nah, it's not. But where I came from, when I look back at it, when I got to that point of literally being a store manager, the first thing I did was take a picture of my name on the receipt and my name on the computer, and I sent it to my mother and my brother. And I literally said, we made it.
Wow. Because
it was not only being able to show that through hard work you can get to this point, but financially, I was able to show my family that, hey, even though I didn't go to college, look at the hard work that got me to this point to be able to set my family up for success.
Determination, the hard work. And you mentioned finances, right?
Yeah.
I want to know, if you remember, what was your pay when you first started, hourly?
So for Walmart and prior to Walmart, I had other jobs, so it was a lot lower. But honestly, and I don't know if you're trying to date me or not. I don't know if you're trying to date me.
You guys can Google what minimum wage was. This whatever he's about to say.
I know I get some gray hair.
Whatever minimum wage was that.
Don't let this guy try to date me. But I think it was $7. It was $7 or $7.25.
Wow.
And then we were only getting like 10-cent raises.
Yeah, and that was quarterly, yearly.
It was yearly, but then they used to give merit raises. So if you did good work, somebody can be like, hey, we'll give you an extra 5 cents or 10 cents.
Okay,
like, that's what it was.
Wow.
So that's where I started.
Now I'm not gonna ask you what your ending pay was. I'm not gonna ask you that because
right.
The IRS might be watching, other pocket watchers might be watching. I'm not gonna ask you, but it was pretty huge. I know the answer. I'm just letting y'all know it was pretty big. So it just speaks to. I love that because it speaks to hard work, determination. Yeah. What made you want to listen to that manager that took you under his wings? And because a lot of times, as we know this is, we're geared towards the young adults, right? And we just want to inspire the young adults. We want to give them different role models to show them that, if you don't want to go to college, you don't have to go to college.
That's true.
Right? But you have to then you can't just sit down and play video games all day and not put in the work. You have to follow that up with a lot of hard work.
Absolutely.
And what I've noticed is that sometimes, not all, I don't like to generalize, but sometimes it's difficult for young adults to, and young people in general, to just trust somebody that they just met and listen to them.
True.
Right? So what inclination did you have inside of you that made you comfortable enough to listen to this manager and trust that what he was telling you was true?
I think it was genuine. What he said and then what he did is what I saw. And then I was able to connect the dots. So it wasn't like he was just telling me something and just leave me hanging out there. He told me, he showed me, and then he guided me. And that is where I took my career. I would teach people, show them, and then guide them. And ever since then, that was the way my career was successful.
I think you've hit on something that I personally am very passionate about. And we're not going to spend too much time on this because I can go for hours on this. But the idea that not just, you don't just have to tell somebody something, but you have to show them.
Have to.
Right? Because oftentimes I look at adults, so-called adult, which unfortunately I guess I'm an adult now. But I look at adults and say they forgot sometimes what it was like to be a younger person. For sure. Right? And they tend to like be so removed from that, that young people don't just want you to tell them what to do. They want to see it. Right? And so like you're saying now, you trusted this man not only because he told you, hey, and he's your manager.
That's right.
He could have just told you to do it, and you would have had no choice but to do it.
That's it.
But not only did he tell you, he showed you.
That's it.
How I want you to briefly touch on the importance of not just speaking but doing, and that combination. What effect it has on a young person's mind.
Listen, talk is cheap. I mean, we just gotta be honest. Talk is cheap. It's good to hear conversation. It's good to get that advice. But at the end of the day, you got to show somebody how that works. You got to guide them through that. And I think that's the difference that some of us who are older have to continue to model that behavior. And unfortunately, we're in a situation where sometimes that behavior isn't modeled at home. So sometimes you got to go outside and find that behavior, whether that's from a leader at your job, at church, wherever the case may be. But being able to show somebody how to do something, guide them through them. Don't do this. Hey, you might want to take a look at this. This is how you do it. That was the way for success for me. And I think that's the key that a lot of people have to get back into is, what is it? I learned this tell, show, do, review or something like that. I learned from Walmart. But it's kind of on those same aspects where not only just talking about it, but you got to be able to show them. And I think showing them is going to be the key, especially on the fact that a lot of young people now, they find that older people are hypocritical. And I don't, that's a heavy topic, but you know, that talk is cheap. Like it is what it is.
We have a young person smirking in the back in the audience now.
But it is what it is. It's so hypocritical. And you and I both know based on our own experiences that we've seen a lot of that.
Yes.
And you know, we have to get back to some of that because it's going to be more meaningful to somebody, to anybody. Yeah. If you can not only just talk about it, but show them and then guide them through that.
Yeah. I think for me, it's, thank you for that, firstly. And for me, it's, I really want to, I want to keep that youthful mindset at all times, right? I think once you become a full-blown adult, in your mind, you've lost the plot. Because even Christ asked us to come as children. And I think there's something significant about him doing that and telling us to do that. And it's something that we as adults must meditate on because there is a lesson there for us. I think that oftentimes when I think about adults, I think about the Pharisees, the Sadducees, right? Adult, we're grown and we know all of this. And I try my best, as serious as I can be sometimes, to try to keep that youthful mindset because it helps me personally remain humble. It helps me personally be able to not take myself too seriously. For sure. Right? And it also helps me be able to submit to God. Right? Because if I feel like I've arrived, if I feel like I'm him, right, then who do I submit to? That's right. Right? And so I think that it's very important for us as we talk about this idea of not just speaking but doing, to understand that it's also connected with having that not never forgetting that childlike mindset, right? And not never losing that.
That's true. And I think in that showing too, like one of the things I learned at Walmart, being a manager where you have to manage so many different kinds of people, everybody doesn't learn the same. And one of the things that I've learned is that there's a lot of people that like to be shown. They like the hands-on. Let's get down in the weeds in this and let's show you how this thing works. They need that. And I think we miss that opportunity because some just want to, you got to learn it this way. You got to do it this way. Man, listen, we're doing podcasts and so many different things because we have to get to the audience in a different way. And we have to be able to appeal to so many different people. And that's one of the biggest things I learned in Walmart, which is why I believe that process that God has put me through in Walmart was divinely set up to be able to also do ministry work and understand this, even though I didn't go to college. So that's another topic. But at the end of the day, I get excited about that stuff, man, because if you can tap into these young people and guide them and show them in a way that's going to benefit them, man, it's going to change their life just like it did for me.
So let me ask you this, right? And I have two final questions for you. I don't want to take too much of your time. This question that I'm about to ask you can be generalized.
Okay.
And I'm sure you can find many instances, but I want you to find the pivotal one.
Okay.
Right? And the question is that, how has God shown up in your life? How has God shown up in your life? And like I said, I know when I ask myself that question, there's many instances. But I know there's always one that always sticks out to us. One or two that always sticks out to us. So if you can think about how has God shown up in your life, and give us just that story and how you were able to navigate that.
Man, listen, we can bring it full circle. So I started at Walmart in October 22nd, 2002. It's just one of those things you never forget. The date, you remember all that. And
2002.
2002.
Okay.
23 years later, here it is, 2026. And actually November 1st of 2025, that's when I hear God tell me it's time to walk away. So all that stuff that you heard, everything that I've learned over the years, the money that I make, the bonuses, everything you can think of, and God says it's time to go.
Hold on. I want to stay here a little bit because I just want to make sure that the audience understands this. You climbed from, I don't want to say bottom, but you know, as far as the career, the position is concerned, you came from the bottom, worked your way all the way up to where you were managing 2 stores. Now, I'm an ambitious person. You're an ambitious person.
Right.
When I hear that, I think, oh, regional manager in no time.
Right.
Climbing up the corporate ladder because you have shown that you can do that. If you stayed long enough, you could reach that point.
For sure.
You said you heard God tell you to leave. Was that a struggle for you? How did you hear that? How did you know it was God? And how did you deal with that message?
The funny thing is that I was telling my wife, I probably heard that maybe 4 or 5 months prior to, but I didn't listen because I was fighting. Because at the end of the day, I was stressed. I had so much stuff going on. And you hear that in your head, and you're like, nah, all right, whatever. Like, I got to keep grinding. But I'm grinding so much, but I'm stressed. I'm losing sleep. There's so many things happening. Crazy boss, that's a whole nother topic. that you already know I don't want to get on that topic. But there was just so much stuff happening. And I hear God saying it's time. And I used to tell some of my managers that I work with, I would tell them all the time, I think, you know, it might be that time. And they're like, nah, you're not going nowhere. And I'm like, but I'm putting it in the atmosphere. But there was a few that knew, they kept saying, because I'm talking about it, something need to happen. But I think what the problem was is obedience. I had to take the first step. And unfortunately, I didn't take the step. God had to force me out. And he forced me out because it was one day that I came into the store and I think everything just came together. And one of my managers who I've known for a very long time, and one thing about me, I don't yell at my team in terms of raising my voice to a certain level. They know that if I elevate, I'm getting there.
Right.
But not to the point where I'm yelling, pointing my finger, anything like that. And I did that to one of the managers on the sales floor.
Wow.
And I've never done that before. And literally one of the other managers was like, absolutely not. And she pushed me. She was like, it's time for you to go. They said, get out the door. I go out the door, get in my car. As I start riding home, I just start crying. Everything hit me all at once. And as I get halfway down the road, I'm like, oh my goodness, what just happened? I felt like I came to. So I called that manager back and I'm like, listen, I apologize. Like, that's not me. I would never do something like that. She was like, listen, I already know that. She's like, you just need to go home. And ever since then, I went home. I spent some time in prayer and I never looked back. Never looked back. And from that time, when I started my prayer, November 1st, I started praying. I started journaling. And mind you, he tells you to leave and you don't know what the plan is. That's the scary part. You don't know what the plan is. And then I never thought I'd find myself in a position where I have to come home and tell my family, hey, God told me it's time to leave my job with no plan.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So to have to do that was stressful. To have to finally admit that, God, I should have listened, but I didn't. So he had to force me out. And I felt every bit of anxiety, depression, all of that. Had to go to therapy. Like, I went through all of that. And I know we don't have much time to get into all that. But November 1st, that was a pivotal moment where it was like, enough is enough. It was time for you to go. And from that point until now, I have watched God move in my life like I've never moved before.
Come on, man.
When I tell you about obedience, when I tell you there was times where the paycheck didn't come through because paperwork didn't get signed off or this didn't happen, and you had to figure out how to move money around because once you get to the point where you have to make that change, you automatically thinking about your finances.
Yes.
Let me make sure I got this going on, that going on. Let me clean this up. So I was doing all that to make sure everything was good. And then there was moments where just things started to get a little tight. Cars started breaking down. Both of our cars are broke down at the same time with the same issue. The same issue.
Oh yeah.
I can go on and on about how God provided and everything that was hitting through your marriage, through your kids, through your finance. I was getting hit on every angle. And the only thing that God kept telling me to do was be obedient. That's all he kept saying. And I had to be obedient. And every time that something needed to be paid, every time that we needed food, when I tell you it was seamless, God moved flawlessly.
Wow.
He moved flawlessly. So November 1st, that was the pivotal moment where, especially in this particular time, where I knew God was moving in my life and I seen him move flawlessly.
Wow.
So November 1st until now, and I just came back from vacation and I still ain't got no job. Let's be for real. I'm telling you, I still ain't got no job.
I came back from vacation.
I just came back from vacation and I still ain't got no job.
That's a different level of faith, brother.
But I'm just telling you how he has made that happen. And,
wow.
And it's just been a beautiful thing to watch God move. And then to even be in this space now to be able to do this work with you, ministry and things like that. I look back at it now, he was setting us up for this. He was definitely setting us up for this. So I'm looking forward to what God has as I move into this future in the direction that he has me going into. But it's been a beautiful thing to follow God in this space like I've never had to do before.
Wow.
Yeah.
That was powerful. I can't follow that. I'm just gonna ask you my last question.
There's so much more, but we got that.
I know, but and it's gonna come out.
Yeah.
As we speak. What do you believe is your purpose? What do you believe is your mission in this life, in this world? Especially from speaking of what we just the testimony that you just gave. It may not be fully clear, right? But what do you believe God is leading you?
And I'm glad, and that's a perfect question because even through all of that time from November 1st, I was questioning my purpose. Couldn't figure out. I'm like, okay, now I'm out here, don't know what to do. Like, where do I go now? Like, God, what do you have me to do? But after spending time in prayer and after spending time just, talking to some good individuals, where I see myself now in terms of my purpose is always to spread the gospel, but spread the gospel in the way that God tells me to do it and be obedient to him and not be stuck in this box that I think we've been stuck in for so long within the church in terms of how to do ministry. Being able to bring people together and having the ability to connect with people that others can't. I just have this ability just to connect with the man down the street. I have this, whether you're white, black, or whatever, whether you're a drunkard, whether you're this, I just have that ability to have people drawn to me. And if that's what God is going to use to gather his people and bring his sheep back home, then that's what I'm going to be able to do. And I want to be able to be committed to that. But it's going to be done, thus saith the Lord.
Amen.
Because the only thing that I'm noticing on a lot of podcasts right now is that they do a lot of talking, but they don't back it up with scripture.
Come on, man.
And honestly, that's been my biggest gripe as I watch podcasts, is just that I hear good stuff, but you got to show the people the truth.
Yes.
And the truth only comes through the word.
Yes.
And you got to be able to show them that. So that's what I'm passionate about now. I'm passionate about supporting the church, passionate about ministries that I can be a part of, and being able to impact as many young people as I possibly can.
Wonderful. So if you guys didn't know, Brother Quest is a part of our Way Squad. We are.
That's it.
We belong to West Wilmington SDA Church, and we have a passion. God has put a passion on our hearts for the young people, because we understand that there is a movement that is about to happen in this world, and God is going to use the young people mightily. And so our responsibility as those in the middle is to guide these young people to be ready for the time that God is going to use them. And so that is the job, that is a mission that we have put that God has put upon us. Thank you for blessing us with your story and your testimony. And like I said, there's going to be more, because as we talk to guests, as we speak to individuals, I know that more of our stories is going to come out, and God is going to use it in a mighty way. We just want to thank you for listening, for joining us. We want to encourage you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you believe that you know anybody that would be touched by Brother Quest's story and his testimony, please share this video with them. And I just want to leave you with a quote that I heard recently that's been really ringing in my mind, right? And that quote is that life is just about helping the helpless, strengthening the weak, and remembering the forgotten.
Absolutely.
And that is, if you can do that at least once a day, you have done something. And so, signing off, WayPod, I'm Chris.
I'm Quest.
See you next time.
Peace.
God bless.